Dungeon Crawler Network presents Tales of Tamriel.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 91 of Tales of Tamriel. I am your Templar extraordinaire host, Aggelos, and with me, the Breton healer of amazingness, he who wears a different hat every episode, Avi Optimal. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I like the intro. It's very fancy and very clean. How you doing? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great as always. Now, we got a fun show planned because there was a good bit of news as well as a lot of gameplay. But before we get into that, we got to do some words from our sponsors, which is our friends over at patreon.com/Dungeon Crawler Network. Thank you so much to all the awesome fans who are currently supporting us over there. And also to Dave C., last name, for his donation to the network earlier this week. Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate it, and thank you for helping us keep the lights on over here. If anyone else wishes to help support the Dungeon Crawler Network, you can head over to our website, dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. You'll see links to donation link and our Patreon. You can also help us by subscribing to us on our YouTube page, following us on Twitter, sending out all of our stuff, whatever you want to do, however you feel like you can help us, even by listening, all of that helps. Thank you so much. All right, Avi, ESO news, tons of it, tons and tons. Patch 2.2.7 came out this week, and this was an incremental patch that fixed issues in Orsinium, Maelstrom Arena, one game crash, and included several ability adjustments. The size of this patch was approximately 380 megs on North American server and 250 on European servers. I know, Ezra. The little Nordlings over there. Alright, now, they did do some stuff with some of the drop rates for Maelstrom Arena weapons. Apparently there was a weird bug that if you actually got on the leaderboards, it was only giving you like a 50% chance or something like that in order to get a Maelstrom weapon if you pulled off the leaderboards. Well, they made it 100% now.
So you automatically get one
if you make the leaderboard. Yeah, the top 100.
That's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, if you make the leaderboard for your class or whatever, you will definitely get one. So that's a nice change for the people actively doing that. Fix an issue with legendary fish in Hrothgar that could be caught under unintended or outside of intended conditions. So now it's harder, so you'll have to get back there. The final thing I want to hit up with is fix several minor issues for the following abilities based on adjustments made in patch 2.2.5. If you remember, 2.2.5 is when they decided they were going to reduce the number of ticks to increase performance in Cyrodiil and things like that for a lot of these AoE type abilities. And one of them was Blazing Spear. Blazing Spear never really hit that hard anyway to begin with, but it was the fact that it procced burning light passive. Or, yeah, that made it very nice. Yeah, Avi, you play Templar too, so...
I do, and I love the Blazing Spear ability.
Well, you might not like it so much anymore.
Well, I loved,
yeah. It was definitely nice, and I know you played the healer role now, so it was a way for you to put out some damage while supporting my stamina-hungry, like, consumption.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And trust me, I used lots of it. Poor Ark had to fight me to get shards, because I pretty much like, nope, I'm taking them. I need all of them.
I throw it a little bit away from both of you guys, so you guys could fight over it.
See who wants it more, who's gonna run for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then the boss gets dragged all over the room because we both go running for it. Yeah, that.
It's a good time.
It is. It is. It's one of those things where you like make fun of them. Hey guys, watch what I can do. You see these guys? I'm gonna make them run wherever I want. Throw a spear. Oh, I'm going to get it.
Watch them scatter.
Watch them scatter. Watch. It's great. Oh my goodness, it's like throwing candy in the middle of kids and seeing what happens. It's amazing. Well, they decreased the damage values on it because apparently it was higher than what it was intended. I don't know about you, but I felt like it was... I mean, it was never very strong in terms of damage, but it wasn't the initial damage that was really nice. It was the proc of Burning Light. But
yeah, exactly.
Even that's been nerfed.
And it was really nice to use as a little DPS, the little bit of extra DPS for a healer. So
yeah, I mean, it'll still do the job in that regard for you, but it's so low now. It's barely worth using. Other than as a healer, you pretty much need to run it anyway, just for the shards.
Yeah.
So, and I apologize, my little one's out here, and he's chatting up a storm, so you may hear him. No, you can stay out here. Just I don't know if you, I don't know, whatever he needs to do.
He's an official on the show now.
He's an official on the show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's my new co-host. He's just yelling because he's angry about blazing shards as well.
Yeah, he is not a happy Templar.
No, he's not, and I echo him exactly. All right, so that was patch 2.2.7. There are some other notes in there. If you're interested in checking them out, you can see them over on our website because we have a nice repository of them. Are the official forums as well. All right, next up on the news. Siege weapon changes. Upcoming changes to Siege in the next major update. I'm just going to go through this really, really quickly. Damage across the board for all Siege weapons has been increased by roughly 30%, but we are considering increasing that more. Snares have been normalized on all Siege weapons that apply that debuff, such as Ice Treb, Lightning Ballista, Oil Catapult to be a 50% snare and last 6 seconds. So, regardless of which one you're going to be using now, they're all going to be the same. All side effects from Siege weapons, snares, heal and taken reduction, siege damage increased, are no longer purgeable. Oil catapults will now also have a stamina damage value added, which takes away roughly 5,000 stamina from enemy targets. Lightning Ballista will now also have a magicka damage value added, which takes away roughly 5,000 magicka from enemy targets. So, ouch. Man, that really sucks. Ballista now turn faster and have their scatter variable removed, making them 100% accurate to your aimed location. Makes sense. Yeah. Scatter shot now adds 20% damage taken from other siege weapons instead of 10. Wall repair kits are getting their repair value looked at and will be adjusted upward in the next update. And then I'm actually going to skip that. I'm skipping one because we talk about it later. Refactoring siege damage yet again. Removing Alliance campaign restrictions on your account. Allowing you to unassign yourself with cooldowns, which is actually pretty cool. Redoing the guards at the scroll gates and putting them on the ground. I guess they were flying. And more things to spend your AP on in upcoming current sets to higher level. So
did we have flying guards and I missed it?
Apparently we did.
Ah, man.
So, and performance is still the priority of the programming group looking into Serial at this time. All right.
So it seems like sieges are getting a whole lot more stronger now, huh?
They do this every time and time again, where they are trying to make it so that siege weaponry is more desired. I don't. I really wish we had someone who did a lot more PvP on the show.
Yeah,
than what
that's
we
the problem.
do.
I don't do any I've never even used this. I think I've used the Siege once, so I'm really not the best person to be.
I use Siege every time I'm in there, just because I had a lot, like just saved up. I think I have like 150 Siege weapons of various kinds.
I put a lot of shields over sieges.
Yeah. I don't know if people, like, I noticed that a lot of the siege damage is for some of the smaller ones. I think maybe they're trying to diversify the reason why people are using different things, such as making it so people don't just use trebuchets. So they're trying to make the other stuff a little bit more appealing to use.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So those things are coming, but honestly, I'm in the boat that it doesn't really matter until they can figure out the lag issues. it's
that's still the biggest issue, right?
Yeah. It's always the number one question. Like, when are you going to fix lag in Cyrodiil, which arguably is their entire game, because they've stopped doing anything with the raid community. I know we're getting one in Thieves Guild, but it's been a very, very long time. So your PvE, your organized PvE communities are gone. Right now they're completely gone, because even Vet DSA, which was a nice small group, is gone. No one does it because the rewards aren't there and it's not scaled up. It's the game is either, if you're not a quester, kind of a solo player, or PvP, there's nothing for you at the moment. There's just nothing to do.
Yeah, it's very much became a solo play, group with friends, and just have fun sort of ordeal.
Yeah, and to some of the Elder Scrolls fans, that's nice, but their main group activity right now is PvP, and PvP is unenjoyable due to the insane lag.
Yeah.
Ironic. Most of the time when people complain about Cyrodiil lag, I don't experience it, and I'm on DSL, so it's really, really funny. Everyone's screaming about lag, and I'm sitting there on my DSL going, I'm running fine. I mean, I have like a 200 ping, which is normal for me, but I don't see an issue.
My lag in Cyrodiil is pretty decent. It's mostly just when I get involved in a big group, obviously. Taking over a siege, or taking over a tower or whatever. When all the sieges get laid down and start firing, that's when the lag really hits. And if I get caught in a 2-on-2 battle, if I'm riding my horse and I come across some people, I can, there's no lag in that situation. But as soon as there's 20 people on my screen, that's when the issue starts really taking its effect.
Right. No, that makes complete sense. All right, so upcoming siege changes are coming. That was from a mixture of ESO Live and some other locations on the forums and things like that. So all of that stuff was mentioned. New Crown Store items coming to the Crown Store this month. So yay, let's go on down the list. Corseted riding outfit. Yeah.
It looks like something my Breton would wear. I'm just saying. It even says, a Breton woman likes to add a touch of feminine flair to her otherwise practical clothing. I'm like, yeah, Estelle would definitely wear this.
It's kind of hot and piratey. I understand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who doesn't like female pirates? It's what it is. What it is.
Yep.
So there's that one in there. Then we got the off-the-shoulder evening dress coming in. Ooh. And that's going to be available on all platforms as of the 17th of December. Avi, you made a comment about her stance. Does it come with that emote?
Oh, that'd be nice, huh? and also all of these dresses seem they're really enjoying what'd they call it? Over the shoulder?
Yeah, the looking over the shoulder look, the feeling of being aloof. Yeah.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah. Tantalizing. Yes. Digital pixels. Okay. Well. High-collared coin ball gowns coming out. I'm liking what they're doing. The roleplay community are going to like a couple of these. This one's available on December 23rd. I like that they're trying to liven up a little bit. I just kind of hope they stick with. And they've been doing pretty good so far, except for something else I'm going to talk about here in a little bit that I feel is kind of weird. But I know Avi, you kind of feel it's okay. But we'll get to that in a second. Just don't break the lore of Elder Scrolls.
Well, the one thing when it comes to this high-colored coin ball gown, it really reminds me. I don't know the NPC's name, but when you're playing Oblivion, doing the Shivering Isles. She's like the main queen for the dark side of the Shivering Isles, and I think she's wearing something really similar to this. I'll have to go check it out, but I saw it and she popped up in my head right away.
Okay, well, it's not that bad. I know a lot of people look at it as being kind of drab, Elder Scrolls being drab, but the majority of people who got into this game got into it with Skyrim, and Skyrim is a rustic backwoods.
Yeah.
It just is. And a lot of these dresses and stuff, and they're very rightly being shown in a very Daggerfall-esque kind of area. Yes. And if you really want to think about it, Daggerfall kind of is the Paris of Tamriel with fashion and whatnot. It also doesn't help that they all kind of have French-sounding names. But, it would make sense. I don't want to see anything too kind of crazy over the top. These things look good and fit the setting. I'm liking them. Except for this next couple. The Eternity Tunic with pants, the Summit Lord's silken robes, and the Brilliance brocade robes. All of these are being available on the 23rd. They have a very Asian feeling to me, and they're being released with the orc stuff. And I know, Avi, you can give your rebuttal, but I feel like they're trying to portray this as being like an orc style type deal, but I feel like because it has such that heavy Asian theme, it would fit closer to Akaviri, because we all know that Akavir is the Bethesda, Elder Scrolls solution to the Far East. But this is supposed to be tied with the orcs a little bit more, and I feel like it doesn't fit. My feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about the heavy armor. Really, that's really my only go-to is how the heavy armor for the orcs does look very Asian culture. But these ones, I mean, they don't look lore-breaking, but like you said, the idea that they go for the orcs, when we all know orcs as these brute, berserker, very tough people, and it's like,
it's just a little jarring, right?
Yeah, it's like it doesn't make sense. It's like this orc just like put some clothes on and he forgot he was an orc.
Right. I would actually really be fascinated if Zos would answer us on this one. So, Laurent Schick, I'm calling out to you, sir. How does this fit into current Tamrielic lore in your eyes? Is this meant to be orcish, or is this more Akaviri? Because the high Asian influence makes me think Akaviri, and yet, I don't know. Well, I mean, the fact that it's released alongside of Orsinium maybe is a little jarring, but, I actually just forgot earlier this patch they released the Akaviri armor as a PvP style, so maybe I wouldn't feel so weird if there were more than just orcs in it. So I don't know if they're trying to portray it as this is orcs or this is
Akavir, but Orsinium just came out, so we put it on orcs.
Yeah, which would make a lot more sense. So I'd love some clarification on that, Zos, from your friendly neighborhood Templar lore nut. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So moving away from the costumes and. See, Zos, this is, again, I'm going to say this again, you need a better transmog system. Costumes, this works for costumes, but you need a different type of vanity system for armor. I don't really want to see any more armor in your costume stuff. I would much rather just be us able to, make our own costumes. But that's an argument for past episodes and probably future ones. For a limited time only, from December 10th to the 14th, the Snow Bear mount is coming. Ooh.
Very fancy.
I'm curious what the price is going to be. I highly doubt it's probably going to be sitting there somewhere in the 2,000 to 2.5k crowns. I'm going to guess.
Yeah, that's what I'd guess too. Since it's only here for such a short time, yeah, I would probably see it for about 2,500.
Yeah. On top of that, I think that this, and they also are releasing the pet to go with it, which is just the snow bear cub. I feel like they missed a valuable marketing opportunity. They should have extended this a little bit past Christmas, because what about the Coca-Cola polar bear commercials that come out every Christmas?
Oh yeah, that's a
I
good
mean,
point.
wouldn't it be an interesting little twist? I mean, no way are they affiliated, so please don't sue Zos Coke. But wouldn't it just been like, oh look, Coca-Cola bear, and you can get one in game too? Like, I feel like it's just a marketing opportunity missed by cutting it out essentially 2 weeks before Christmas. So
Oh yeah, all the people want to go get their white bear after seeing the Coca-Cola commercials, you know?
right. I would, take a picture of myself drinking a Coke and then riding my bear. Right?
The mead bottle says Coca-Cola.
The mead bottle, exactly. Like, I feel like that's acceptable. As I'm looking through the Crown Store now to see if they added anything of note, which they haven't yet, which is kind of weird. I wonder when these things are gonna. I think they'll probably all hit around the same time, which is probably around that 10th. All right. Also, 2 mounts that were available a long time ago are now coming back, which is actually kind of neat. And I'm glad they're doing this, because I know this was kind of a question that a lot of us had was, are you planning on ever returning these things to the game? The Black Sench Panther as well as the Senche Leopard are coming back into the game for a limited time. Actually, are they set for a limited time? Yes.
Yes.
The 23rd of December through the 4th of January, they will be available again. And I think it's kind of neat because I think the consoles missed out on it. Yeah, they obviously missed out on it before, and I didn't think they brought them in. I kind of hope they keep bringing these things back. Like, I don't want to see anything in the store get retired permanently. I don't mind if they rotate out and rotate back in at a later time, but I really feel like if it was added in the game and is in some way a permanent item, like in your collections, it should just be shown as not available in the Crown Store now, wait till it comes back. Because I know Guild Wars 2 does that. Because every time they release something, they add a collection tab. But some things rotate out of their store, especially holiday items. So they provide ways of getting them afterwards. Like, I don't want to see anything permanently retired.
Yeah, I agree.
I
And
mean,
I'll tell you right now, I missed buying this Black Senche Panther, and I was pretty bummed. So I got to take advantage of it this time.
Right, make sure you have your crowns.
Yep, I already got them.
Did you buy some from the Black Friday sale?
I didn't. I should have.
Oh, dude, you really
regret
should
it.
have.
I regret it. I know.
It was like half the price. Well, it was 40% off.
Oh man.
Because I bought the 5,500 crown pack for Thais because she's not subscribed anymore, and she wanted Orsinium, so I was able to get her the collector's one for like $23 or something like that. So
Wow, good deal.
So she got like the mount, the pet, the experience scrolls, and the DLC for $23 plus 500 crowns to spend extra, which I think she then bought like a dress or something that she wanted. So and
very nice.
It was cheaper than the $39.99 that it was before, so can't go wrong there.
Nope.
Yeah, definitely jumped on that when I had the opportunity. Okay, that's and I almost forgot it again.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think anyone would want one of these, right? I mean, baby netches, like who cares about them?
Only the coolest thing to ever be put into this game. I mean, all right.
Yeah, but it could also bring up you also, Avi, that's kind of insensitive of you. What about all the people suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder from Grobel?
Hey, you know, I suffer from that in my nightmares every night, but having a little baby one next to me, maybe Grobel will go easier on us in those fights.
Maybe it'll help you work up to not being scared of Grobel anymore.
Yeah, he's gonna help me face my fear.
There you go. I'm just gonna hug my baby Netch and hope it, help me face my fears.
Once you kill Grobel, a little egg pops up in your inventory, and it says this will hatch into a baby Netch collectible.
See, I love that idea, and this is part of the thing that makes buy to play and free to play so terrible, because they don't do that kind of stuff because they can make money by adding it to the store.
Such a bummer.
Yeah, could you imagine it being added as like you said, he drops an egg randomly, like a 0.5% drop chance, and then
it's kind of like you have Grobel's baby as a pet.
Yeah, like. And people would run dungeons, especially people who are collectors, would have run dungeons constantly to get it.
Yeah, and it'd make it that much more rare when you walk around with it, because it's kind of like the people who played for the first year and got that special mount. You know, they're so prideful. You know, riding around that thing.
Oh,
going, look at me on my mount. You know, and
you mean like me?
Kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like you.
I have like every mount they've ever done, but I still only ride around on my Tiger because no one else can get it. And I had been subscribed for that entire time. So yeah, Thais and I still ride around on those mounts more than any other. Just because... I guess I should say on my main. On my other characters, my alts, I switch up the mounts. Like, they all have their own whatever mount. But my main character, I never get rid of that Tiger. I love that Tiger.
Wish I had it. Shame.
It's a wonderful Tiger. Yeah.
I don't have any of the Senshis, so...
Oh, really?
I never purchased one. All my characters use the gray Yakuten Charger. It's like my favorite horse. He just looks bad. Like he's just ready for war.
I do like him. He is neat. He is definitely very, very, very neat, and I like him a lot. I really like the white Imperial horse that you got. That's one I rode on before I got the Senshi Tiger. Like, that's just the one I rode on because
he's hard for me to ride on because he just always makes me think he's that one gold horse. You know, you only had to pay a gold piece for him. And let me say right now, playing a little bit of console lately, I really wish I had access to a 1 gold horse. Oh my goodness!
Because you don't have any of it right now.
I need a horse so bad.
I was going to say, I am 4 days away from being a full 60-60-60 on all 8 character slots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not even my main has... None of my characters have 60 in anything. So that's very impressive.
Yes, I am, like 4 or 5 days away from...
You probably have a level 5 that has better...
A level 4 who's all maxed out, yes, I do. My Khajiit Nightblade on the Aldmari Dominion is level 4, has never left, never even picked up a quest yet, I don't think. Is sitting in Volkogard with a full 60-60-60 mount and max bags.
Gosh. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, I max out all my characters have maxed out bag space as well.
Wish I was motivated to do that. Every time I get in game, I can't get myself to take all my characters, though.
Well, I mean, as of right now, until housing comes out, there's not really a lot of use for gold, except for what I did this week, which I'll talk about in gameplay. But, so every time I get... I have a factor out of how much it's going to cost. Like, I counted it out, and whenever I hit that amount of gold, I just send that gold to a character, run to a bank, or run to a bag merchant, and just max it out. That's what I did. I just saved up the... I forget how much it is now, because I'm all maxed out on all my characters, but I added together all the different upgrades, each one, and then I would save gold until I hit that amount, and then put it on the character. They run to a bag merchant and just buy every upgrade.
Nice.
So, yeah, I've never used the crown store for any of my mounts or my bags. I bought everything with in-game gold, and that's how I like to play. Never bought any of the motifs, anything like that. It's all, if I can get it in-game, that's where I'll get it. And that's because that's what I like to do. It gives me something to aim for, other than just running dungeons all the time.
Right. Definitely.
It's goals. Definitely goals. All right. We're going to move on to something a little negative here. Because this week, they added something else to the Crown Store. And it's got some people a little upset. Not just us. Like, I know Massively OP had an article about it, how people were very angry about this kind of thing. Reddit was alight for like 3 or 4 days with this. They added Werewolf and Vampire bites to the Crown Store for 1,500 crowns. I'm going to preface this by saying that personally, like, you don't get to do the quest. It just gives you Vampire if you buy it. This item doesn't anger me in the fact of the item itself. It's the premise behind it that annoys me. Because I know some people will argue that, oh my goodness, it's not even an immersive game experience anymore. People don't go out and try to find the mobs that can infect them. It's, you know, people shouting and selling bites. I get that. I do. And that's why this particular item itself is not very immersive, even in game right now. But it's the premise of it that I have the problem with, not the item. So, Avi, I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so pretty much, 1,500 crowns for bites. I'm not a big fan of this. I don't really like it. I don't like the idea that you're buying something that comes with abilities. Mm-hmm. Something that's not just a cosmetic. It's not just something that makes your character look prettier. It actually improves or makes your character worse depending on how good you are at playing the game. I mean, obviously,
it makes your character worse if you're doing Elden Hollow with all the fire, but in any other situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're like me and you do full on just PvE, they're really not that great. You know, vampires is really good for, what was it, for bats. Werewolf, I'm sure people like it for their reasons. I don't see a use for it. And like you said, it's not even the problem isn't even that these are on the Crown Store. It's just the idea that if they get away with putting something like this on the Crown Store that comes with abilities and comes with making your character better out of game, something you actually have to spend real money to do. That's awful, and it makes you think, what are they going to put in next?
Exactly. That's the problem here. Regardless of the negatives that come with Werewolf and Vampire, this is, in effect, a pay-to-win move. Because, and this cat will not leave me alone, because you are paying, not for a cosmetic, but for an actual skill line and power increase. And again, just because the in-game economy made it so that it's not that expensive to get in game, you're still buying for it. And I know Zos tried to defend their actions by saying it's just for convenience. It's just for convenience. Well, what happens when they start adding gear into it, like the monster helms? Going, oh, it's just for convenience, so you don't have to farm them. You can get the perfect trait the first time just by buying it. Or that kind of stuff. This is not the motifs, which I know people go, well, you complained about motifs. Yeah, I do, because I like things being in-game. But arguably, they are cosmetics, right? I mean, they do affect the economy of the game slightly, but they are cosmetics.
Well, to an extent. I mean, you can go buy all of the glass motifs and make a bunch of gold making people glass pieces, and you didn't spend a single in-game currency on buying that motif, so it's sort of exploitable in a way.
Yeah, it is in that regard, yes. But in the end, someone could say, if they don't really want the glass look, they'd be like, yeah, I just want the gear in whatever style. I'll just wear a costume over it, or whatever the case may be. It's not a power increase. This is a power increase, and the argument of it's just for convenience is not a good argument. This is actually the same argument
it's a horrible argument.
It is. This is the same argument that Arcade and all those other, Korean MMOs use that are very pay to win and are, even openly by their community are pay to win. Their argument is it's just for convenience. It's
yeah.
You could grind this item out that will take you 1,000 in-game hours, or you could give us $100 and just get it now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this guy has been trying 100 times to get this undaunted helm. He's not getting it, so we're just gonna put it in the game because it's a convenience for him. No, that's get out of here with that. That's you're buying to make your character better, and it can only get worse from here. It kind of reminds me of when they had the Imperial collection, where it's like, no, the Imperial race isn't just a convenient thing. It's comes with a whole unique set of passives, which are technically some of the best passives in the game. So
if you're a tank or a melee, absolutely.
Oh yeah, my Imperial Templar. I mean, his passives are what makes him so
better than my freaking Nord. But I love my Nord, so I don't care if he has terrible passives.
Hey, you can't get cold.
That's true. If a trial ever comes out that is all frost damage, I'm going to be king of the hill in there, okay? That's not going to be an issue. But until that happens, we're in trouble. So, yeah, I can't get cold. I'm very worried that the next step is going to be the monster helms and stuff for sale are upgrade materials for sale. Can you imagine a crown store Drew wax or something like that? It's just for convenience, right? So people don't have to buy it in game.
If they started selling bundles of the ruby ash and nightwood, selling big old bundles of nightwood that you can just purchase for crowns, and like, what? No, that's not good.
No, it's
not good at all.
No, because it is essentially, like right now, you're arguing that the Crown Store is all items that are just cosmetic that don't really affect gameplay at all. Yeah, that's true. They don't. Not really, because you can get them all in game, etc., etc. And well, you can't get mounts and stuff. But if you have one mount that's in game that you bought with in-game gold, it runs no faster or slower than anything else. You're fine. But you're now adding in-game mechanics into the game and marketing it as convenience is not right, Zos. This is not a good move.
Especially with your guys' original statement that everything inside of the Crown Store will be a cosmetic item, and this is very much going against your word.
Yeah, This is very scary. It really is for me, and I know we're going on this, but this is not something good. I'm really scared that what happens, like I know they removed it that if you're not an Emperor anymore, you don't get it, but what happens if they added the Emperor skill line in going, oh, you can now buy that because it's just for convenience instead of having to earn it. Or when Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood come out, like, oh, you can just, I don't know if they have something that you have to do to get the skill lines, but maybe they just offer it in the Crown Store instead, it's just for convenience, so you don't have to do whatever it is that you had to do in order to get it. It's not cool. This is very much a pay-to-win thing, Zos, that you're doing right now. It is. It is. Regardless of how the Vampire and Werewolf are received in-game currently, because it's not hard to get it, because I know a lot of people, their initial response was, who's going to spend that much money on Vampire and Werewolf? I'm in a guild that gives them away for free constantly. And I even had some other people, my friends going, if anyone wants it, I'll give it to them. That's great. But and I laughed at it too until I sat down and really started to think about it. And then it's like, wait a minute, this whole idea of what they're doing is bad. Not the item they have in here, but everything is wrong.
I don't know about you, but I was kind of comfortable with the way you got a werewolf by, somebody's a werewolf, you can slap him some gold and he'll get it, or you can take that chance. Have friends, exactly, or just take that chance of seeing a full moon and going out for the exploring. It takes time. Sometimes you won't get it that night, but I think that's the fun part of a game. Why do you have to have something right away? Why does it have to be that convenient? It should be something you work a little bit towards, and that's something I kind of liked about Werewolf Vampire. Even though nowadays for a player like me, it's it's such a simple thing to get. It's almost hard to wrap your mind around that it's even an issue.
Yeah, and it is a simple thing to get right now. Like it's really not hard. Even a brand new player can get 5K gold, which is what it's currently going for, somewhere in 3 to 5K, in about an hour and a half of gameplay. Tops, if that. You know what I mean? It's not hard to get that amount of money in game, even for a brand new player.
See, the most convenient thing I can think of is for like a new player on the console, you know, because they don't have access to a zone chat, they don't have access to a guild, so it pretty much makes becoming a werewolf or vampire impossible. But at the same time, that's no excuse to put them in the crown sword. Just for that, you know.
That makes more of an argument for putting actual chat on consoles.
Yes. And man, I've been playing a little bit, and let me say, it needs it. Talking about it in past episodes, I didn't even realize how much zone chat is needed in consoles.
You definitely feel it's weird when it's not there.
Trying to talk to somebody, you can't. If you don't use a mic, you can't interact with anybody. It's so awkward.
Right.
See someone run by, and you can't tell them anything. It's like, oh, okay, well, can't ask them for a werewolf fight or.
Are my favorite. Someone runs by and they're blaring rap music on an open mic. That happens more than you think.
That hasn't happened to me yet, thankfully.
Then you haven't really been playing that long.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that was pretty much some of the main complaints after. I remember seeing a PSA on Reddit after consoles came out going, I understand you want to listen to music, but if you're listening to music, can you please turn your mic off or at least put it on like some sort of push to talk? Don't leave your mic open. I don't want to hear your stupid rap music. Yeah, that's a thing.
Yep, so Zos, zone chat.
Yeah, take away. Remove Vampire and Werewolf from the Crown Store and
add console
chat.
That will fix everything.
That will fix these issues. Yeah. So, I'm really curious what all you guys think about this. Send us a message. contact@dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. I'm really curious what other people are feeling about this. Because, you know, of what it is. Because I know a lot of people are like, it's not hard to get. Who cares? If someone's dumb enough to spend the money on it, that's great. And I do kind of agree with that. If they are going to spend that kind of money, then all right, well, sucks to be them. But it's still the premise of this entire thing is not good. Not good at all.
Yep, I agree.
All right. ESO Live came around, and let's see what we got going on here. Yes. Things that are confirmed. Cyrodiil will get special vendors that appear twice weekly that sell undaunted sets for gold and AP, so both gold and alliance points. The set available will rotate weekly. They won't be available each week. BOP versus BOE still in discussion. This will be in the Thieves Guild DLC patch.
Nice. I don't got a problem with this. I think that's actually pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of going after a single helm, and I know it's a fun part of the game and it's challenging, but you know, I want to get the helm so I can go off and do the other things I want to do in the game, just like the PvPers. Like you said before the show, this is going to be a great thing for PvPers who don't want to continuously run the same dungeon to get a helm for a whole different play style. So
right. And I really think that's what this is marketed towards, more the PvPers, because if they make it expensive enough, the casual PvEer will have to farm, you know, choose, do I want to rather run the dungeons that I enjoy doing or try to do PvP to earn the crap ton of AP I'll need plus the gold to buy it from the vendor when it does appear. You know, like, it makes sense. Like,
yeah, and it seems obvious for PvP simply because the vendors are going to be in Cyrodiil and they accept alliance points. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I hate the fact I have to do PvP to get some of the best DPS skills in the game. Like, I have to do it to get call drops and those things. So it's like, all right. Well, I guess I'm going to have to do it. But it's not necessarily content that I enjoy doing, so it makes it makes it a little bit less fun. Now, will I do it to get the stuff? Yes, I'll do it, but it's not. If there was an alternative source in PvE that was my preferred playstyle, I would absolutely be doing that. That's kind of how I feel about the Akaviri style stuff. It's easier for me to earn gold in game than it is to earn the sheer amount of AP needed. So I'll probably just earn gold and buy it off someone who's selling it.
Oh, that's right, because you can only get them for alliance points right now, right?
Yeah, and it's not a small amount. It's like a couple million alliance points
more than
per
I've ever
page.
had and probably ever will have.
Yeah, I'm currently sitting on 13k alliance points, and people are like, "Man, I get that in like 5 minutes." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the most I've ever had." Actually, I shouldn't say that. I've bought some other stuff, so it's went up and down. But still, it's easier for me and more enjoyable to do content that I enjoy and can then, get my gear or whatever it is that I'm after, rather than doing content that I do not enjoy and hope I get something. They're adding a champion point free campaign. All non-vets will be champion point free, and there will also be veteran champion point free campaigns. So champion points will have no bearing whatsoever on the PvP. Yeah,
Good. I was hoping that they were going to add a non-vet campaign with no champion points a long time ago. It's kind of the one thing that ruins the non-vet PvP, you know? So
I could see the non-vet absolutely should have been pretty much from the start.
yeah,
But
that's how I feel. And, I've heard it in a lot of other podcasts. A lot of people feel this way. It's kind of ridiculous to think that somebody with 500 plus champion points can go jump on a new character, use all those 500 champion points, and just go be a god in non-vet PvP. It's kind of absurd, and so I'm happy for the change.
Absolutely. This is just an absolutely positive change. There's really nothing bad to say about it. It's like, yeah, great, awesome. Forward camps are returning to the game. Yeah. So they've been gone for a very, very long time. So we'll see their return. I'm interested to see. They say that the radius has been reduced, so it's approximately the size of a keep. Before it was fairly large, and people could spawn to it pretty much from anywhere for the most part. But now it's much smaller.
I didn't know it was that big. Wow.
Yeah, they used to be really, really large. And apparently now you can only respawn. Like before, you could die anywhere in Cyrodiil and then like port to it if you wanted to. So people were using them as like almost instant ports to pop around the map. But now you can actually only use it if you die within range of it. So
oh, that's cool.
That's actually a really good change. I'm surprised they took them out instead of just doing that right off the bat. There's a global cooldown currently for 2 minutes for spawning a forward camp in quick succession. So people were at one point porting hundreds of people in by just laying a camp, everyone ports, loses it, and they just keep laying them down. And you can, if you had the stuff, you could move hundreds and hundreds of people around the map instantly. It was insane. Old camps will be recognized by the game. They're still only good for 20 spawns. So if you're still holding on to that camp, you'll still be able to use it. So I don't know of too many people who are still holding on to it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, 'cause it's been a while. Dueling confirmed to be coming. And, personally, I think that this will probably come along with the justice system side of the PvP, because a lot of the code needed for the PvP will be available when this comes out to allow us to have the enforcers and whatnot. So,
oh, I see.
Yeah. Currently, the game, you can't attack friendlies because there's no way of flagging people to be, hostile. So the game mechanics allow you to actually attack them, but that'll come with the justice system,
Justice PvP.
Justice PvP, which I'm actually really excited for. I think I said it on the last episode how I think that'll really add a lot to the world, because I love open world PvP, Because it makes it feel real, alive. Oh my goodness, there's bandits and thugs. They're trying to attack me now. Great. Well, since they're outlaws, I can attack them without penalty. But if I'm an upstanding citizen, just like ESO, like you can steal, but if someone sees you, you're bad. If you murder, you're going to be attacked by guards. I like PvP with consequences, where you could attack anybody, but there needs to be consequences for it.
Yeah, I agree. It always makes the world feel more alive when there's more consequences.
Yes, and I'm excited, very, very excited for that. And finally, Battlegrounds and our arenas, they weren't completely specific on it, are now officially on the development docket, but there is no ETA for these. Q3 2016 would be the absolute earliest we would see anything like this, but it will probably be later.
As I call Call of Duty.
Call of Duty!
Battlegrounds. I think Battlegrounds will be pretty cool, even though I think I'm going to be horrible at them. But pretty interesting to see how they do them.
I actually might do Battlegrounds more than I would do Cyrodiil PvP.
Oh yeah, me too, for sure. I mean, it's a little closer of the in-between of like the Imperial City. I like the Imperial City a lot more than Cyrodiil, simply because it's a close PvP,
Yeah.
So this is going to be even a little more closer and pushed in. So I like that, and the whole team idea, especially if they do it 3 ways, so all 3 alliances can go against each other. I mean, that would just be awesome.
I'm sure they'll do something like that with all 3 alliances.
I am pumped. Let's whoop on some Dominion.
Yeah, right? So, final bit of news. Again, a little bit of controversy. Kind of neat that they're doing it, but some people are kind of asking about this. Over the past few weeks, you've probably seen them doing a new Twitter campaign called Million Reasons to Play ESO. If you've been ignoring it, they've finally come to near the end of it, and their whole purpose beyond this million reasons to play ESO is actually a little clever marketing scheme of they are giving away $1 million to one lucky ESO player. Now, this is over 20 years. It's like $50,000 a year for like 20 years. Still a nice chunk of change. But I know some people were really kind of asking the question of why are people doing this when they really should just be working on the game? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. Or like I said before, they can even be doing little things as to giving free copies of the game to people who are doing podcasts, and Twitch people who are streaming the game on Twitch to give to people who don't have the game and help get their crowd bigger, and just little things like that. I don't really understand the whole idea of giving $1 million away to somebody who might only barely play your game and really not even be a fan of the Elder Scrolls series as a whole. And
yeah, I honestly feel like maybe $1 million worth of copies of ESO given away free. To like people like that. Oh, we have $1 million, which is like I don't know. I'm not going to do the math. We'll just say 300,000 copies of ESO that we're giving away at various sites to get people into the game. I think that might have been an even more interesting marketing mechanic than this.
It would have went off a lot more positive, that's for sure.
Right, right.
Not the idea of one person has the chance of winning $1 million and everyone else is gonna be SOL and.
Yeah. Well, in order for the people who are interested in this, there are some restrictions. Several countries are ineligible. Some states here in the United States are ineligible, so check that. But they have an entry form that you can sign up for. You sign up and you have to log in between when the announcement was made a few days ago and what is it, like June something, or not June something, January.
I better go do that.
Yeah, January something. You had to have logged into the game. You fill out the form and have to log into the game between the deadlines. So if you're interested, go check that out. It's on the official Elder Scrolls Online forum, or not forums, just their main page, right on the home page, the entry form and all the rules and everything. So make sure you get out there and sign up if you haven't already, if you're eligible. That's the end of the news, Avi.
That is it.
That is it. So it's time for us to talk about our gameplay, man. What have you been doing?
Well, I'll start with the less exciting one, and that's I've been playing a little bit of console lately, which is it's been fun. It's been a different experience playing on the console. I started a Nord Templar. His name's Avi Optimal. I finally get to use that name for once. So that's kind of nice. I'm just running right now. I'm just running around Stone Falls. I haven't picked up any quests. Pretty much, I got in the game. I went okay. I went to my collectibles. I got me a pet, and I went to my mounts, and there were no mounts. and I went, oh no, I forgot I don't have anything. So I looked at my crown store, and I have 500 crowns, and I went, oh no, and I looked at my gold, and no gold. My bank doesn't have anything in it. So a lot of this morning I ran around just stealing stuff, and I actually got about I think I got about 2,000 gold from
It's not
stealing.
too bad.
It was pretty nice for the small little time that I did it, and I was just running around what's it called, Balfoyan.
Right.
So there's only so much that you can steal from there, and all of the armor that's on the racks and stuff don't sell for any gold at all, which is a bummer. So I picked up a bunch of that and couldn't sell it. But it's fun though. It's a different experience playing it on the PS3. Like I said before, I'm playing it a lot more casual. I'm doing everything on one character, kind of like how you guys do it. I'm not making alts. I pretty much decided that my alts are going to be, I'm going to make a Dominion, a Covenant, and an Ebonheart Pact. My Ebonheart Pact is going to be Avi Optimal. My Dominion is going to be Estelle of the North, which is my Breton Templar. And my Dominion is going to be Raz Kamatu, which is my Khajiit Nightblade.
Right.
So I'm gonna bring back all three of my favorite characters back to life, and it's kind of funny because they're all going to be in their own alliances. The Breton will be in Daggerfall, the Khajiit will be in the Dominion, and my Nord will be in the Ebonheart Pact. So
it seems fitting.
yeah, it seems fitting. Even though I know, if I met Raz Kamatu in real life, he would look at me and go, "Nah, we kill the Dominion. We don't work for them."
Right.
He's a very mean cat. But yeah, besides that, I had you and Ark take me through Dragonstar Arena.
Woo!
Normal, and I cleared it. And yeah, it was a really fun experience. It reminded me a lot of the Maelstrom, obviously. Just learning some of the mechanics of the fights and mentally preparing myself for Veteran. I'm way too excited for Veteran, man.
We'll have fun with Veteran. We'll have a lot of
yeah.
fun with Veteran.
I'm gonna have to work on my gear a little bit. I know you've been doing that a little yourself, so I'm gonna have to do that some and maybe get her just a little more prepared. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a couple wipes, but they're more towards the end.
It was the 9th round, I think it was. The final arena, there's part of the arena is with the ghosts where you have to go down. I was so used to doing it on Vet where you had to. I actually kind of thought you didn't have to on normal, so that was my fault. I'm like, oh, we don't have to go down there, but you kind of do, because if you don't, you'll get killed, because the mobs come up, they have like insane power, and
oh yeah, all of a sudden I got hit for like 30k, and I was like, oh, I had no idea anything in this place was hitting for that much.
Right.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, it even hit me. Like, I think I got one shot by one of the guys at one point. It's like, oh my.
Oh yeah, me too. It was really challenging, even on Vet. So I mean, it's going to be really exciting to see how challenging it gets put in Veteran. So I'm excited to finally get it. And not to mention, I got it's only VR13, but I got my first what's
the master weapons.
Thank you. I got a Master Inferno Destruction Staff.
VR13. They're nice. I keep mine. I think I have a VR13 Master Sword, and I keep it in my bank just because it's...
Oh, I'm keeping it for sure.
And man, hopefully when Housing comes out, they'll have...
I was just going to say the same thing. When Housing comes out, hopefully they'll have a rack I can put it on.
Right, so you can hover over, oh, look, that's a Master Sword. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'd collect that even if I'm not actively using it.
I got that clear in Dragonstar Arena for my first time.
I'm really hoping for weapon racks and armor stands so I can put like and armor cases and stuff like that so I can put things like
Yeah, like the mannequins in Skyrim.
exactly because I would
Oh,
love to
yeah.
put the monster helms, like places to put all the monster helms on that you
Do you?
collect.
I don't know if you messed around with too many mods in Skyrim, but they had a mod with the what's it called, the Dragon Priest mask, and you were able to get
Yes.
one of those Dragon Priests standing things where you can put them all on, but put it in your house. So something kind of like that, like a really beautiful stand where you can like put all of the Undaunted helms on, and maybe put the Molag Kina right in the center because that's probably one of the hardest helms to get. So
Yep, exactly. I would love to do something like that.
I would even love a little thing where it's like you can like see like a kind of like a closet or so, you know, like a cabinet, and when you look in it, you can kind of see like pieces of your costumes that you purchased are kind of folded in there. And then when you buy a new costume, it will. I don't.
No,
have
I
so much,
agree.
I have so much hopes for housing. I'm such a.
They have you. Yeah, I agree. We have such high hopes for housing that they need to do some of this housing really well because
I mean, Elder Scrolls has always done housing so well. It just makes you think, what are they gonna do? And I know it's not Bethesda making it Zenimax, but still, it makes you think, what are they gonna do with the housing that's gonna make it even better than the last time they did it?
yeah. Well,
Which always excites me.
the thing is, yes, it is ZeniMax, but it's a parent company or a sister company, and they have a lot to live up to because yeah, it is only this company making it, but it still bears the Elder Scrolls name, regardless of the fact that it's not Bethesda making it. It's still Elder Scrolls.
And not to mention that the last Skyrim DLC to release was a complete house of building DLC. So they really upend the we're doing this house making thing. Even with Fallout 4, they made it even more crazy to where it's giving me headaches. But that's a good thing.
Oh, it is, and for people who like that, that this is my space, they want good housing. Like it's something you need.
Like I want little places where I could plant a couple alchemy ingredients. Little things like that. I'm getting off topic, but I want housing really bad. So I'm overly excited. But yeah, that's pretty much been my game week. Doing the console thing. Dragonstar Arena got it cleared. Hopefully, it will come back soon and say that I got the veteran cleared too. And it's nice having the new title hanging above my character's name.
Right?
Yeah. That
it's
one
always
in the
exciting.
That one in the Maelstrom Arena, it's like I get to switch off in between them now because they both look so good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad we actually got that for you. I was really excited. And hopefully soon we'll get to go through Vet because I would love to finish that up and do some stuff there. So.
Oh yeah, it's happening, man.
Oh yeah,
it is happening. So how about you? What have you been up to this week in gaming?
I have been, well, as you were saying about working on our characters, I have been working on all of my gear because I need to start doing some of the Vet White Gold Tower, and there's some very high DPS limits on it. And I've had some nice people, some not so nice people, and I've asked to run on stuff and saying I'd go, and they asked me what my DPS is, and I'm not going to lie, I tell them exactly what it was, and before it was at best somewhere in the 9 to 12k. That was about it, and I think that'll increase a lot when I get better internet. I know I complain about my internet a lot, guys, but right now I'm sitting, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, my ping, and this is probably one of the best pings I've had because my wife is allowing me to do this without being on the internet for anything, and it's 114 with only a 23 frames per second, which is pretty low because my card's actually really good. It's just I'm just having really bad frames, and it's very, very hard to weave with to accurately weave when you have that high of ping and so low of frame rate. I brought this PC to places with, you know, better internet, and I'm getting, you know, 50, 60 frames, and my ping's down in the 10 to 30, and my DPS goes up by like $2,000 or $3,000 quite easily, because especially as a stamina DPS, you're looking at roughly 30% of your damage is through the biting jabs weaving. Like, it's
Right.
not a small amount. It's 30% of your damage, and I only hit maybe 1 in every 3 weave attacks, because there's a very tight timing, and it's hard to do that when you have 1/10 to 2/10 of a second delay. You know, it's hard to hit that sweet spot. So that's kind of what I'm working on, and I think that'll help. Now, I did buy some new gear. I have been working on all my crafting mats. Like, even if you're watching me right now, I'm still farming in Orsinium for the leather. What is that? The Rudeo leather or whatever it's called.
Rubidite?
Rubidite's the metal. I can't remember what the other thing is called.
Rubedo or something.
Yeah, whatever. The leather. I've been farming that because I'm down now to 2 pieces. I'm wearing a piece of VR14 gloves and a VR15 shoulder, but everything else right now is VR16 legendary armor and weapons. All of it's VR16 legendary with legendary enchantments. And I also bought 2 rings of agility with robust trait, and if anyone doesn't know, right now they're going for about $250,000, almost 300 to 300,000 on the US Mega server.
How much did you spend for both of yours?
I got a deal on one for 250,000, and the other one I got for 270.
Okay.
So overall, it was a little over $500,000 gold to buy that, and then I spent probably close to another 100,000 on enchants. That might be a little bit of an over exaggeration, but I mean, I was still doing quite a bit on enchants because I was going with legendary enchants. So VR16 legendary enchants are going somewhere between 15 to 20k per, depending what they are. Sometimes maybe a little more. So it is what it is. So you definitely have to work on that. So I bought those, and I've noticed quite a bit. Like right now, my DPS is in group fights. I'm sitting there I'm doing a group fight right now, and I'm in the low 23 to 25k damage for AoE, and depending on the fight, single target, I've been noticing my minimum now is about 12k. That's my low, and with as high as 17 to 18. So I'm pretty much
nice
up there. I think, honestly, with my build, that when I get the better internet and do a better job of weaving, that'll increase my damage by probably another 2 to 3k, because when I do connect my computer to good internet, I am getting a 2 to 3k damage increase, which would then put me in the 19 to 21 DPS range, as I would be currently. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that. The only other than the last 2 pieces I need to craft to get to VR16, the only other thing I need is a Moleg Kenna medium helm, which unfortunately I have to get pretty much max level in order to get, but I'm working on that right now, and hopefully I'll be able to.
Hey, you might be able to buy one for gold in Cyrodiil soon.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it comes around, but see, I'd also have to farm AP. So,
do you think it's going to be gold and AP, or
it's
just
gold
one or
and
the
AP?
other?
Yeah, it's both.
Oh, okay. Oh man.
Yeah, it's gold and AP.
Ah,
Yeah.
damn.
So
Guess we'll have to do some PvP.
Yeah, we definitely do, because I know I need to, because there's also a lot of skill points in there that I need. but you get a skill point every time you get a PvP rank, and I love skill points because I'm a master crafter. I've actually messed with my crafting and like all my stuff. I now have woodworking maxed out, with the exception of extraction and carpentry, because I no longer am researching, so that's 4 points saved and 3 points saved from extraction, because I have another character who breaks down my materials now. So she sits at the bank, and every time I get raw materials, I'm just throwing them in my bank. She logs on, breaks them down, gets a higher chance at the like the tempering alloys and stuff like that, and go from there. Cooking is maxed out. Enchanting is maxed out again, with the exception of rune extraction and alchemy. So I'm back to being a master crafter on one character.
Nice, very nice.
I only have some of the auxiliary things on alts, such as the breaking things down, because if I'm going to break stuff down, I'm normally back in town anyway, right? Like I don't need anything for that, so I threw it on a secondary character who does the breakdown, and then they just throw it into the bank for me to use on my main. So I'm back to being a master crafter with all of them, not just like 3 of them like I was doing before. It is now all of them. And I did that for multiple reasons. One, because I'm not real fond of playing alts. I'm not an Avi. I'm definitely I like playing on my Nord, and that's what I like playing on. Well, the way that they're probably going to be doing all DLC in the future, based on Orsinium, is the scaling nodes, where your crafting has to be up to that level in order to get things from the nodes. So instead of running an alt through, I figured I might as well just put it back on my character. Now, I still am missing, there's 2 more skills I need for my build that I have to get from PvP, and that's the Resolve and the why am I drawing a blank here, Avi? Oh, Caltrops. Yes. Yeah. So that's 4 points I need to get both of those, and I'm currently sitting on 12. But there's a bunch of skills right now that I don't even have. Like, I'm going to pull up my thing, unlocked. Like, normally in class skills, I would have had every one of these unlocked and morphed to something, but I don't right now. I'm only using one specifically for my build. So it's pretty much 1 or 2 from each of my class abilities, and two-handed and dual wield are still maxed out, so that's good, but I still need, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. I need 28 more points to max out my all my class trees to have everything, even though I wouldn't necessarily use them, because as we were talking earlier, I really wish that they would offer all class skills and stuff an ability to be either stamina or to scale off or use stamina or magicka based on what you would want, because heck, like, it would give me more choice as a player, because right now biting jabs is wonderful because it gives you the crit, but for survivability I would much rather have puncturing sweep.
Yep.
But I can't because it's magicka, so if I'm a stamina build, it's no use using it. I would much rather all class abilities just scale off whatever your highest whatever your highest trait is, whether it's magicka or stamina. I think that would be amazing, but I think they said they weren't going to do that, but I hope they change their mind, because right now they're like, oh, that doesn't create interesting play, and I'm like, well, technically what you're doing now doesn't create interesting play, because when you only give one morph, you only have that choice. Like every melee Templar takes biting jabs.
Biting jabs, yeah.
And actually every magicka Templar takes puncturing sweep, but there's no choice. Not really. I mean, not within the class trees. There's some choice in other locations, but I really think that they're really missing out on a golden opportunity by allowing people to use their class trees with whatever resource is their max resource, because then it would make builds go, do I want the survivability of biting or of puncturing sweep, or do I want the crit of extra crit of biting jabs? Because if I'm running puncturing sweep, I'm going more survivability. Now I could get that major savagery buff by putting Evil Hunter on my bar, but that means I'm losing one ability. I would have to make that mental choice to go, I'm using Evil Hunter for the crit. But that's a way of making the build. Right now, there's not. As long as I'm using it, what does it matter?
Yeah, I mean, I remember back when I was a stamina DPS, all I was using was biting jabs, and I mean, it was to the point where using the other ability is not even a thought in your mind because you're a stamina, and that is kind of an issue. I think it'd be a lot more fun if you'd be able to pick through the abilities, like you said, to go, oh, okay, do I want more crit or do I want some more healing, some more self-healing, and not really be based on the magic or the stamina. It opens up so many more opportunities, so many more options, and also so many more different builds to be able to be made.
Well, one of the abilities that I'm using, Power of the Light, which is, it essentially puts a beam on the enemy, it stores up damage, and then explodes. Well, here's the thing. There would have been two options. Again, the difference between pure DPS and survivability is Power of the Light adds Minor Fracture, which reduces the armor, so that's a pure DPS. The other one, I forget if it's Purifying Light or whatever it is, but regardless, when it explodes, it heals people around it. That's a survivability morph,
Definitely.
But that's Magicka, right? That's a Magicka one. So if you're stamina, you don't go for that even for the survivability because it doesn't hit for crap, and it just doesn't work. I really feel like they need to change class abilities to reflect off what you're using, so there's more choice.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you there.
All right. I'm actually also curious what people think about that. So if you're in, send us an email, contact@dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. Send us a message, title it for the Tales podcast, and what you think, because we would love to hear your thoughts and might even read it out on the show. Okay. And then on top of that, I've been running lots of dungeons because I love the mercenary motif, so I'm trying to get a nice build up of laurels. I did switch over to Magicka for like a day, and then I switched right back.
You ran DSA magic, right?
I did.
Yeah.
And after that, I mean, my DPS was about the same. It actually was just a tad higher because it doesn't require weaving as heavily. Like, it does, but your weaving attacks do far less damage as a Magicka, so your DPS from weaving is only like 10 or 15% versus the 30 from stamina. Because when you're stamina, like I'm doing my stamina bites right now, and my attacks are hitting for non-crit somewhere in the high 2s to 3Ks, actually over 3K, somewhere in the 3.1 to 3.5K for a non-crit, and almost 6K for a crit. On my Magicka build, they were only doing low 2K for non-crit and just a little over 3K for crit. So, like they're not doing as much. They're only about half as effective. So my damage did go up by like 2 or 3 grand without having to weave with the Magicka because it does, the weaving doesn't require or isn't such a huge portion. But I don't know. I didn't like some of the abilities I was forced to use. The Puncturing Sweep was amazing, and I would love that ability to be more permanent. Like, I would love to be able to choose that. Like, I would love to use that for Vet Maelstrom, because that ability is way better than Rally.
It is a savior.
Oh, it's amazing.
Maelstrom. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you right now, using my main mechanic was running up whenever I got pulled in with a mob, use Empowering Sweep Ultimate on it, which reduces the damage taken to you, and then just spam Puncturing Sweep, which heals you while you're getting reduced damage taken, and you don't die.
No, you don't.
You don't die.
You really don't, and it's amazing. Like, and that I would love that ability to be stamina, so I could make that choice. Going, all right, I'm gonna do Vet DSA or Vet Maelstrom, but I need some survivability. Because right now, like, I'm not overly impressed with Rally anymore. Like, it's an okay heal, but it's just not doing it for me. Not as much as that was. I'm hoping that when I get the Resolve, that's a little better. But I really think I need to remove Rally from my build and just stick with something else.
Yeah, I was gonna say the problem is switching it out.
Well, since I'm dual wield, I can get the major brutality, which is the extra 20% weapon damage from Hidden Blade. I just have to swap to my alternate bar, throw a Hidden Blade every 30 seconds, and then I got that without having to use potions. Like, I still use potions, and my potions are stamina with weapon crit and the brutality, both of those buffs, so that I have them, but I can get that buff from another ability. I don't need to use Rally. Right now, it's the only reason why I use it, and the heal is somewhat nice, but it's actually not that much, and I'm wondering if Resolve would be a little better of a heal.
Maybe.
Like, I don't know. If it is, that's great, but right now, Rally's not bad because you can hit it again and get that burst heal, but the burst heal is not that overly strong, and it costs a lot of stamina.
Right.
So, I don't know. It doesn't hold a candle to Puncturing Sweep. It doesn't. Puncturing Sweep is just so overpowered that it's really no contest. So yeah, doing that.
Hey, Magic Templars for the win.
I have all this gear, and I love stamina. I just like the gameplay of it because I like the ability to be able to dodge more than once.
Yeah, no, I know. Hey, having robust on all of your willpower really does help.
That's funny. It's just...
That was a joke.
Yeah. I'm
but
not...
true, it's true, though, in a way. But...
Yeah, no, it is, and it's... I don't know. I like the stamina build because of the dodging capabilities. I feel more survivable. I shouldn't say more survivable. I felt more survivable with biting jabs or puncturing sweep, but not so much with the current ability. I just need something for more heals, and I'm hoping that when I get Resolve, it actually does a good job. Like, looking at the tooltip, I'm not overly impressed with it, but I'm hoping it does a little better than what I have now. I would much rather have Puncturing Sweep be available, but, whatever. It's not. And the combat team said they're not changing it because I think someone asked that once upon a time, and they're like, "Yeah, I
was gonna ask you if that has been asked before too."
It has been, and Eric Roble pretty much said that they have no plans to add more stamina morphs. They want it to be a choice, but I don't know. I think they're wrong, because they're really not. They're not giving us choice. The only real choice is whether or not we want to be magic or stamina, and once you make that choice, you have...
It's pretty much, it's step for you after that.
Exactly. And I just think more abilities would be more useful for the more classes if they, like if you're a tank with more stamina, you could use more things. Like they could actually make a survivable tank using biting jabs that they can weave in between there to help regain some health as a Templar. Yeah. It may not hit that hard, but it would help. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Enough agreeing about things that they pretty much said they're not going to change. I have been dungeons, gear. I got to play with Thais again on Saturday. Yay!
Nice.
And
how'd that go?
We finally finished silver content.
Very nice.
We are now officially on the gold. I posted a screenshot of us on the boat.
I saw that.
Yeah, it's pretty, isn't it?
Looks like you guys are holding hands. And...
Mm-hmm. That's on the boat. For anyone who starts in AD, you start on that ship.
On the Prowler.
Yeah, and that was us walking up onto the top deck, just looking around. So,
what made you guys decide to do gold?
Well,
I know you were talking about maybe going to Craglorn, but
we were gonna go to Craglorn, but Thais really wanted to start silver or gold. Like, that was her. I asked her. Like, I was going to do all of the content, and that was my original plan. But she wanted to start gold. And honestly, I mean, it's one of those things where Craglorn and Hrothgar, like, all these things weren't going anywhere, right?
Exactly, yeah.
It's how do we want to do it? And I guess I kind of make sense as to why. Because if you are following the story chronologically, all the events that are currently going on in gold happened prior to, you know, the events of the Celestials coming in Craglorn, the Imperial City with the, you know, the dissolution of Moleg Ball's schemes, because, you know, his final attempt at the plane meld was thwarted in Imperial City.
Kind of saying it's after Silver Gold. And
yeah, in terms of a chronological timeline, if you were to look at the events, because the events of all of these things happened at the same time. They're all happening at the same time. But if since we're playing characters or whatnot, if you really want to talk about it, you don't really know the length of time. But all you know is when you finish the main storyline, you haven't finished the plane meld. The plane meld is still going, and that doesn't finish until you finish Imperial City. That's when you finally kick Moleg Ball's bum, or Moleg Ball's balls, however you want to do it, and he's no longer a factor, right? So even if you wanted to think about it in a roleplay sense, yeah, you could say now I'm just venturing to the other lands, which are still under assault by Moleg Ball and all the Dark Anchors and stuff. So we are going very much timeline. Then after that, we'll probably hit up Craglorn, and then she doesn't have Imperial City, but maybe I'll buy her some more crowns so she can get that DLC and she can do the main quest line. I've already done it.
Or you guys can just do Hrothgar so we can talk about it on this darn show already.
Well, we can talk about Hrothgar. I mean, I'm in it already. I've just not done the main story. And
dude, the main story, the ending of the main story is so mind blowing. I need someone to talk about it with. I know. Well, the problem is, Avi, like, you and I would talk about it, but we really couldn't talk about it on the show anyway because we wouldn't want to give spoilers early. Yeah. It's
I mean,
very good point.
I don't mind talking about, like, I'm even still a little... I'm still a little leery about talking about the main story. I don't mind so much about side quests, and some people just skip side quests and don't really care. So that's fine. But I still don't like talking about the main storyline, not because it's been over a year now, so most people probably who have played it, but people who haven't, it's such a good storyline. Like, I still don't want to spoil the storyline from Skyrim, and that's 4 years old.
That's a very good point, and Hrothgar definitely has one of those memorable. I mean, I won't say anything, but just earlier today, I was sitting here thinking about a character that died in a game, and it was like messing with my head how serious her death was to me, and I was like, who is that? What game am I thinking of? And I was like, wow, I'm thinking of the Elder Scrolls Online. It's like, oh, they do very, very well with Hrothgar. It makes me so excited for the future content.
Someone was talking to me earlier, and we were talking about the game and quest and stuff like that, and someone was saying about Final Fantasy 14. And how that storyline was one of the best in MMOs. And the main storyline is very good. A lot of that is because of cutscenes and stuff that they've added, made it very movie-like. But I was talking to, I think it was Broden from DCN. We were talking about, and I said, here's the thing. I do agree that the main story of Final Fantasy 14 is good. It is absolutely a fantastic story, but a lot of the side quests are forgettable. Like, you skip through the text, you just don't care, right? Because they're just kind of silly. They don't really follow the main story. You're just kind of like, who really gives a rat's butt? But even the side quests in ESO are fantastic. Yeah,
that's for sure.
And I don't mind spoiling side quests so much because some people don't even care. But I'm not going to say never, But for the foreseeable future, we will never talk about a main quest line in any DLC or the main quest, just because this is an Elder Scrolls game. Like, I know people are like, oh, this isn't Bethesda, so does it count? Elder Scrolls Online is canon. Like, it is canon to lore.
It counts.
And it is an Elder Scrolls game. If you're just playing the main storyline, Avi, is it not fantastic?
My goodness, the main story, the side quests. If you're an Elder Scrolls fan, then you'll love this game. The mechanics take a little bit of getting used to, obviously, because it's more of an MMO mechanics, but the quests are so good, and the lore is so good. A lot of these quests, I think, easily compete with some of the side quests that you come along in the other Elder Scrolls games.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, if we ever did talk about quest, it would be the side quests. We wouldn't talk about the main storyline because they are so good, and I wouldn't want to spoil them for people because they are so good.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I'm going to give Amanda Gray a little shout out again because she just sent me a whisper in game about the number of random players who ask her if she is the Amanda that Aggelos keeps mentioning last week. Yes, she is. She's chatting with me right now in game, so I'm actually just gonna.
Yeah, we actually just mentioned you on the show right now.
my typing skills. Yes, it is that Amanda that I am talking about. So we had our own little argument on Twitter about Blood for the Pack versus King and Covenant. So
I read that in my mind. I just thought, I have both.
Well, at the very least, it's not Aldmari Dominion. So
and one of the nice things now is that you can get a character to level 50 pretty easily just grinding and completely avoiding all of the quests, and then once that happens, that character will pretty much be an in-game VR16 character.
How do you do that, sir? Like, seriously, I need to know, because
I mean, honestly, the grinding guides, online, I don't have any to put out to say specifically, but there's so many good ones, especially for the Dominion and for the Covenant, because as soon as I went back to Ebonheart, I was like, oh man, all of my Ebonheart's grind spots are awful. But there's a lot of good ones.
You should look one up for me, because
I'll pull one up for you.
You've seen my character, like when I shared my screen with you.
that was funny.
Yeah, when I shared the screen, you're like, man, there's a lot of characters that need some love in there, and
I was like, where's all the badges? Oh man,
yeah.
All my characters. I mean, I have 7 VR characters, so whenever I look at my list, I see a bunch of badges. So I was like, you only have 1 badge. You're like, there's one on the bottom.
Yeah, it's like bookends, one at the top, one at the bottom. Exactly. But I do want to level them up. If I'm not leveling... The thing is, if I'm not leveling my main, I feel like I'm wasting time by not making him more powerful. I probably won't feel as bad about playing alts if they were veteran rank, because then at least I'm earning champion points for my main, but that first 50 levels is just terrible, because I'm essentially wasting time on my main. Because my main is the one I care about. I don't care about alts. I only care about my main. So... I don't know. That's how I feel.
No, it definitely does make sense.
Yeah. And I'm not saying anything for the alt people. People who like alts, if that's the type of gameplay you want, then it's fun for you. But for me, I only like one character. Even if I copy it, it's not me in the game. So I feel like I'm, just cheating on my main character, essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
So at least when I play my Sorcerer alt, my VR2, I have the argument that, hey, I'm at least earning experience that gives champion points for my main.
Yeah, something is still going towards your main character in the long run. So
yeah,
it always makes it a little more worth it.
Mm-hmm. But right now it's... Yes, shout out to Amanda Gray again. I am her homeboy, as she just sent me a message.
The homeboy.
I'm her homeboy, so I am. She's my
your homegirl.
my homegirl, I guess. I'm pretty
Yeah.
white. That sounded weird with me saying that.
Don't worry. I'm from Northern California, so it's all right for me to talk like that.
Yeah, it works for you, but for me, I'm from like rural Pennsylvania, and it just kind of feels weird. Oh my, yes. So that really has been my week in game. I gotta say this though. It is really, really nice because we have been in Bangkorai for such a long time. And now Bangkorai is a very nice zone. Do not get me wrong. Other than Rivenspire, now I know Rivenspire is kind of ugly, but the storylines in Rivenspire were some of my favorite in Daggerfall.
Me too.
The zone, we're in Canarthy's Roost right now, and I have not been in Canarthy's Roost since the beta. Like, during the beta weekends that they were having, we played on Aldmari Dominion because we knew that was we didn't want to spoil the story for our mains, which were going to be Ebonheart Pact. So let's see. Well, Dominion we knew was going to be the last step in the
veteran rank.
Yeah, the veteran rank train. So we figured, let's do this because we're probably not going to remember it, right? Like, because it'll be a long time till we got there. Obviously, like a year later. But Canarthy's Roost is gorgeous. Like, I love that little island.
Isn't it? Oh man, Canarthy's Roost and Auridon are probably two of my favorite places in this game. Like, all honesty, the beginning of AD is just so good until you get to Grotwood.
That's what I was worried about.
And then it all falls apart. It all falls apart after that.
It really does get bad after Grotwood, or at Grotwood.
It gets bad at Grotwood. I'm not a fan of Green Shade or I think it's called Malabal Tor or something. But I do like Reaper's March. So it's kind of like the first zone is good. It's the book holdings again. The first one's good and the last one's good, but everything in between's kind of eh.
Now, see, I didn't really feel that. I thought Bangkorai and Daggerfall was one of the weakest.
Oh, that was for Dominion.
Yeah.
Daggerfall, personally, I like all of the zones.
It's hard for me to pick. Green Shade, or not Green Shade, Glenumbra was my favorite zone in Daggerfall.
You liked Glenumbra over Stormhaven?
I didn't care for Stormhaven that much. I mean, the story was good, but
that's where I would live if I lived in Tamriel. I'll just say that.
It would definitely be Riften for me, the Riften area. Well, northern section of Riften, because I love birch trees and things like that. My new house actually has birch trees, which was part of the reason why I wanted it. It has a stream and birch trees. It feels very Riften to me, and I was like, done.
Let me look out at that ugly city I live in real fast.
Yeah, I'll send you pictures, Avi, once I move into the new place, because it's very nice. I actually, I already planned on putting a network cable, like an external network cable on the outside, so I can move my PC outside and sit on the porch outside during the summer, because it's a covered porch, like it's a deck. But it has a cover over top of it, and I have a picnic table out there. I'm building a new PC probably in the next 2 years or so anyway. And this one's still good enough to play ESO. So what I'll do is I'll wrap it up and make it my mobile kit, and move it outside. So I don't really care if it gets wet. Oh well. Or get a nice higher end laptop and sit outside on the porch outside and watch the stream go by and things like that. So that's my goal.
When I was going down the street to my pop's house to use his computer every once in a while, he has his whole setup in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's sitting right by a huge sliding door, so you're pretty much playing outside,
right,
at a desk, and I love playing games outside.
Yeah, right. I can't wait to do that. That is something I'm very much looking forward to.
Especially a good fantasy game like Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah. especially when my entire house will kind of be reminiscent of the zones I'm in.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm super excited about all of that, and I can't wait. Plus, I'll have good internet finally for like the first time in probably 6 or 7 years, because I moved into this house 5 or 6 years ago, and I've not had good internet since. So I'm very excited, as some people may know. And I'm just doing all my banking. Yeah. Ooh, I got a pauldrons too. Malabest the Scourger's pauldrons, which are heavy shoulders that are infused. One of the better enchants.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's
Very nice.
always exciting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I guess I can mark that as junk. But yeah, I'm very excited about that. And can't wait to play with Thais again next week. We have been setting aside Saturday evenings to play together, so that's kind of what we've been doing of late. Is Saturday nights after Ezra goes to bed, I stay up because it's Saturday. I don't have to do anything the next day other than record tales, and I get to play with my wife. Oh, and I also have one more thing I gotta mention. I do want to send a big thank you out to so many people in the community. After last week's episode, I got probably 7 or 8 requests of people, not requests, but offerings of people, that when we started Craglorn, that if, if you weren't on Avi or whatever, if we needed somebody to stand on a platform, that they'd be there. I had Katie or Mickey, right. I had you, I had, oh my goodness, I had the Dark Wiz in the guild, I had, I'm so sorry if I forget all these names. I had so many of them just say, I can do that. Ballin, so many people, and I have all of your names written down on a piece of paper somewhere that I will be messaging people when we get to Craglorn to, if when we play on Saturday nights in the evening, if we need a person, I'll be like, hey, and bring it in. But I really do appreciate that, all the people who stepped up and were like, hey, I'll do it for you. If you just need someone to stand on, I'll be there. I'll do the quest. That meant a lot to me. So thank you so much for everyone who stepped up and was like, hey, we'll do it with you. That's cool. So,
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was really excited.
We have a very good community.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Absolutely we do. And yeah, I was all ecstatic because I just kept getting message after message after message going, I'll do it. I'll be there. I'll do it. So it was very nice to see, because in a lot of MMOs nowadays, like, there is so little community. But it's nice to know that, at least in ESO, especially with our community, that you could have told me that one. That's exciting.
That's exciting?
That is exciting. Thais came and sent me a text message, said, we had some poop, not a lot. I was hoping for the poop of the century, but still had some.
And now everyone knows, the baby's pooping habits. Nice job.
Well, he's a baby. We were a little not overly concerned, because babies, when they're solely breastfed babies, they don't often have a lot of bowel movements, for those who are interested in all of this. But we were getting a little worried because it had been a while since his last one, so it was exciting news because he had a little poop. So yay! At least we didn't have to take. It's one of those things
good,
like
that's good news.
It is good news, because we were worried. Like, is he sick? Should we take him to the doctor? Do we, those things that run through a parent's head? Like, is this normal? Is this not? Like, we're first time parents, so. It was a little worrisome for us, because it had been a while and we were reading up on it, and it's like, well, it does say they can go for a while, but this seems like extensive. But yay.
Yay.
He didn't look like he was sick or anything like that. He was a happy boy. Just we were concerned as parents, going, is he sick? Is he sick?
I was able to hear his happiness.
Yeah.
That's a happy, energetic kid right there.
Yeah, he's over there. Here, give him here, baby. I can show him off to all the people.
Are you recording?
Well, yes, I'm on video, so if you don't want to be in the video, avoid the video.
Oh, I definitely do not.
Well, here you can see it. For all the people who haven't seen my little milk drinker, if you're watching the video, here he is. Hi. Hi.
Do you want to smile? Do you want to smile?
Smile for everybody.
Give a smile, baby.
This is my little pride and joy, my little milk drinker. He's so cute. Oh, there's his big smile. Yeah, he's got a big smile. He's cute. He's very cute. He's such a good baby. And he's staring at the orc that's on my screen right now. So, she's trying to get his attention. But yeah, guys, that was our gameplay for. I'm just watching him on the thing, and he's just laughing up a storm. That was our gameplay for this week, and that was pretty much our show, Avi.
Yeah, it was a very good show. It had a lot of news and a good amount of gameplay for the little bit of gameplay that I did this week.
I had a lot of gameplay, so I was happy.
It's always good.
Right. All right. Well, do you want to give a little bit of a shout out to where people can find you and that kind of spiel, and then I'll. Yeah,
sure thing. So, where you can find me pretty much everywhere in game on PC and PS4, and I'm very, very active on Twitter. That's at Avi Optimal. I also just wanted to throw out real fast. I wanted to say thanks to everybody who's been sending me messages on the PS4. I'm sorry if I don't know your actual names or your PS4 names. Encostinas, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Offering to craft me a full set of gear and help get me on my feet, and hearing from you guys, it's very nice. So thank you all for the messages and everything. Just wanted to give you all a shout out on the show, and yeah, it was a very good show. I'm excited for the future of ESO, and yeah. Excellent.
Oh, I scared the baby. He was watching his mom, and as soon as I said excellent, he's like, where'd that noise come from? Yeah, so you can find me in-game at Aggelos, A-G-G-E-L-S, on the US Mega server. You can find me on Twitter at Aggelos, A-G-G-E-L-O-S _W-O-F on the Twitters. You can follow the show on our website, dungeoncrawlernetwork.com, on YouTube at youtube.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork, and our Twitter accounts are at DungeonCrawlNet for the whole network and at Tales of Tamriel. So thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next week right here in Tamriel. Have a good night, everybody.